up, y'all? This is the big homie Benja, and I'm in the field with the track stars. It's good.
What's going on? Back in the field with the track stars, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. We're about to get into this Dissect segment. This one is actually sponsored by IamBrinson.com. Make sure you check out his new track, Go Hard. We're about to play that right after this segment, so stay tuned. So this is what everybody's been talking about, man. I mean, when this thing dropped, I got all kinds of tweets. I got all kinds of messages. Track stars got a bunch of messages. Are you going to talk about this? You going to talk about this? There's been so many tweets sent out by Christian hip-hop artists about this. I am talking about the new Kendrick Lamar album, To Pimp a Butterfly. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit more about the reaction to it in the next hour. But we wanted to do our segment, Dissect. We don't really talk a lot about secular albums, but this one made such a stir. We want to get into it. And usually we dissect one song at a time. But we decided since this thing came out, we're going to dissect the whole album. And so we're not going to read every lyric from every song, but we highlighted some that we thought were interesting, and just the overall message of the whole album. What does God think about it, and all that kind of stuff. All right, man. So, what did you think? First of all, just your reaction to Kendrick, the To Pimp a Butterfly.
I told somebody it's not Good Kid, Mad City. So if you're thinking it's that, if you haven't heard the album, it's not nowhere near that. He is really standing up. He's really standing up for African Americans with this album, honestly. Like, it's really like pro-black, honestly. Showing our flaws and everything about the black culture, showing our good stuff and our bad stuff. So I would say that. Music wise, it reminds me of 90s hip hop. When I say 90s, beat wise, he had Pete Rock on it. So if you know who Pete Rock is, he has that sample type jazz loops, drum tracks. So one song on there that me and Shantana was talking about today, All Right, like, got a little bounce to it. But rather than that, honestly, I think everything else is really jazz loops, jazz kind of funk type stuff. So it's different. So if you think, he hit it out the park with Good Kid, Mad City, and then he hit it out the park with this is more lyrical to me than Good Kid, Mad City. You know what I mean? And the reason I say that is, like, he put more lyrics in it than he did Good Kid, Mad City, in my personal opinion. So that's just me. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm seeing the reaction, and I almost feel like whenever this happens, I feel like the reaction I've seen from a lot of people, it's almost like if you don't like it, you're stupid reaction. Right? Yeah. Like, that's a vibe I'm getting from people. And some of my reaction is A.W. Covenant's fault. He's not here today. Mm-hmm. I'm going to just call him out. And this is what threw me out. This is before I even heard it. He announced it right when it dropped. He put it on our group me. Kendrick just dropped the album early, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, okay. He said immediately after that, this is the best album since Lauryn Hill, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I was like, what? What are you talking about? So I'm like, okay, so I'm going into it like that. Like, this dude is almost worshiping this album. Like, what's going on here? So I listened to it because we decided we were going to talk about it on the show. And I'm like, okay. Like, I get it. I get it. He's deep, you know what I'm saying? Real, it's thoughtful. The whole album makes sense. It has a certain feel to it. But the whole groundbreaking, it's new. I don't get that. It sounds to me like a 90s Outkast album cut record.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah,
I don't want that to sound insulting. It just don't sound new to me. It sound old to me.
It did. It really reminded me, man. Like, I was getting and I'm not big on any other coast outside of the South. Like, I really don't know that much about it.
Don't care.
But I got at one point I did get like a Tribe Called Quest like beat feel,
and it's fine. I mean, I think it was brave. You know
what
I'm saying? It was brave for him to go that way.
Do y'all know who Pete Rock is?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you know his production,
I understand
that's what he does.
But to me, it's weird to hear somebody say this is new. He pushing hip hop to a new place.
It
But
was,
honestly,
But it don't sound new to me.
honestly, like prime example, and this is going people going to be like, y'all just saying that because you pushing it. Honestly, like LA, like that project he had.
Yeah, it
Jazz,
sounds old too.
Yeah, like, but that's
I never
the
said
field
it was.
of but that's the field of it. But to me, honestly, I told you this earlier. I was like, it feels of that Section 80, like those some of the stuff on Section 80 was jazz loops and stuff.
But
like
to
that.
me, okay, because I feel like people mad right now because I'm stepping on whatever. But I get it. Like it was smart. It was a smart album. It was a little weird to me. The first half was a little weird. Second half got better to me. But I get it. Like there were some thoughtful things he did on the track. Where I'm confused is why are people, and we'll talk about this more later. Why are people almost treating him like a Christian rapper? That's what I'm confused about. Like,
I'm very confused about that.
Is he that?
No.
That's where. So we're gonna dissect the lyrics and see what is Kendrick Lamar about. Because if you haven't heard it and you're like, you're a parent of a kid that may want to listen to it, it's all the usual suspects. You got the cussing. You got you got the F bombs. You could. I don't know if it's necessarily degrading women. Where
the interlude?
But to me, that was mocking something. I don't think here's the thing: when you listen to this album, some of what he does is he's talking as somebody else. So it's a little weird. It's not like he's saying it. He's like impersonating somebody.
It made me feel like I was like,
he pulled a swoop. Yeah.
Does he have like a mental problem? Because it was weird to me. First of all, I'm not big on.
You don't know talent.
I don't.
So,
I really don't.
You don't know.
I really don't.
If it ain't got an 808,
if it don't 808,
and if he ain't rapping faster than you can understand,
if your back seat ain't rattling and his tongue ain't,
because I will say this, man,
Brian Righteous is out the park.
I was driving, listening to it on Spotify, and I was just like, oh man, with this hurry up and end, this is killing me. It was killing me.
Okay, so but there's a lot of people who think otherwise. They think it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Yeah. So we gonna figure it out. If Austin was here, he would be yelling at us. What are you talking about? So, all right. So here's some things that stood out to me because I'm trying to soak this in as people think this is like a significant thing. This is like big. This is like some people think he's a Christian, and they're saying it's no different than if a Christian artist put out an album, just add some cussing and some pride in there. Well, maybe not. Pride may be the same, but add some stuff in there that's more worldly, and then it's just a Christian album with worldly stuff on it. All right, so let's go through King Kunta. There was a line that we wrote down when we were reading the lyrics. This song is kind of like King Kunta is like a play on words of Kunta Kinte and how he's kind of like he's the king of the game, but he's still a slave type thing, right? So there was a line where we found out it sounds like he's kind of talking about J. Cole, Drake, and Big Sean, and how what he did may have kind of had a ripple effect, the control verse he did with Big Sean. So he said this: I can dig rapping, but a rapper with a go. Oh wait, no, that's another song. I'm sorry. This is something else. This is he's okay. Back up. King Kunta, he's the best, right? That's what he's saying. So he's going at people who have ghostwriters. Yeah. What I said earlier is for another song. So he says this: I can dig rapping, but a rapper with a ghostwriter, what happened? I swore I wouldn't tell, but most of y'all share bars like you got the bottom bunk in a 2-man cell. Something's in the water, and I got a brown. And if I got a brown nose for some gold, then I'd rather be a bum than a baller. What do you think he's saying? Is he basically outing people? Do people have ghostwriters? All your favorite rappers that you so and so is so hot, are they writing all their stuff? Is that a big issue? And who is he referring to?
Well, if he's keeping it, hip hop, then to have a ghostwriter and then come out and say, hey, you the hottest of the hottest, then it's like you can't say that because you got somebody writing your stuff.
But isn't it ironic that wasn't Snoop on one of these songs?
Yeah,
he got a ghostwriter.
I think I heard it is like he has
his last album. He admitted it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyway, moving along. All right. So we skipped a couple, I think, and then we went to You. All right. So this is the one I think I was talking about. The You is kind of like an introspective song. He's kind of like reflecting back on the last couple of years as he advanced and kind of grew in the game and did everything he did. Was it right? And if he had all this power, how come he couldn't prevent certain things from happening and stuff like that? So he says this: I know your secrets. He's kind of talking to himself. I know your secrets. Mood swings is frequent. I know depression is resting on your heart for 2 reasons. I know you and a couple block boys ain't been speaking. Y'all near beefing. I seen it and you're the reason. And if this bottle could talk, I cry myself to sleep. Everything is your fault. Is he talking about them, or is he talking about something that we don't know about? Is this a personal situation, or is he talking about the control verse?
It may be a personal situation, because I don't know who the Block Boys is.
Yeah, that when I read Block, it sounds like it may have just been something.
Yeah, like something like some cats that he was rolling with. What
do you think about his introspection? All this. What if I did this? How come I couldn't? I read an article where somebody said that they were comparing him to Pac. They're basically like Pac would have never been so like worrisome about his life. Pac was like he said Pac was very like, this is what it is and this is what it is. He said that Pac would never go back in and do all this. Should I have done that? Should I have done that?
I mean, I think if he had chances to live and then seen this play out, but I'm thinking you think about it's probably a Tupac song because he recorded many of those songs where, I mean, he talk about stuff. So being introspective isn't wrong. I think with this song though, it's like I think what happened was he probably lost friendships with the control verse. So when he lost friendships with the control verse, he probably thought about it like, yo, is it really was it me really calling these people out worth me losing their friendship that I built for years, or I built so many, you know what I mean, we're kind of comrades in this thing. We're the new generation.
And they took it wrong, basically.
Yeah. And he's like, was that worth it? And now I'm depressed because nobody's hollering at me and nobody's really kind of.
That's why I doubt that it may be about them, because I don't know if he would admit that. Yeah, that's kind of a soft thing to admit. Not like it's wrong to feel that way. I'm just saying it's hard to believe that he would say that.
But normally depression happens because you're feeling a certain way. You know what I mean? So it was like, are you depressed because you was hot at the moment when that happened? But then it's like, I left casualties. My friends, I left casualties because now, I mean, Drake said in the interview, like now at the time when it was hot and stuff, like, or like a month later, he was like, nobody want to work with you no more because you kind of did, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like how back in the day where it's like you could get on a song with somebody and before the song happened, like, yo, man, I'm about to murder y'all. It's about to be going now, and y'all knew it was healthy competition. It was between y'all.
I think that's what his intention was.
Yeah,
really.
But they took it wrong. I think he was just like, hey, yo, here's a jab, y'all jab me back, and then we go back and forth. They took it personal.
Yeah,
I think it should have been taken personal. You know,
I don't think it should have.
Here's what I'm saying: if he said it, he meant it. Like, you don't just come out on an album and talk about people like that and then try to pull back. It would be a soft move.
But he ain't the only one that says stuff like that. Yeah. So everybody says that.
No, but I think the difference is it'd be like if it'd be different if somebody give you subliminals versus straight names.
Straight names, yeah.
Yeah.
So. All right, so let's skip down to All Right, the song that we actually liked. He says this. He says, "What you want? You a house? What you want? You a house or a car? 40 acres and a mule, a piano, a guitar, anything? See, my name is Lucy. I'm your dog. MF, you can live at the mall. I can see the evil. I can tell. I know when it's illegal. I don't think about it. I deposit every other zero. Thinking of my partner, put the candy painted on the regal. Digging in my pocket ain't a profit big enough to feed you. Every day my logic get another dollar just to keep you. In the presence of your Chico, I don't talk about it. Be about it every day. I see you. Cool. If I got it, then you know you got it. Heaven, I can reach you." And then he says some other stuff. Iraq, blah, blah, blah. My rights, and rest assured, my rights, my wrongs, I right till I'm right with God. So Lucy, what people believe is he's talking about Lucifer. So Lucifer is basically talking to him and telling him, if you do this and this is what you'll get.
Yeah.
And this is what I'll do for you. What do you think about him talking about God? Because this is what people, every time, like you said earlier, every time somebody says God in a song, Christians get excited. Like, oh, is he a Christian? You know, because
especially if it's an artist that people like.
Yeah, they want him to be
talk
a Christian.
about God, and it's like,
he a liar. So,
did you say Chin?
So, what do you think about that? Is his approach and his idea of God, is that accurate, what he just painted?
Nah. I mean, and we've talked about this on the show before, where I say everybody kind of tailor makes God into their own tolerance. They have their own tolerance for the type of God that they build up. Like some people believe that they're not gonna get in trouble if they go out there and say bad things and do bad things because God is the only one who can judge me. And he comes out and says that in one of those songs, and I'm just thinking. He used God so much, I told you a lot of songs I listened to, and I was like, "Wow, he's saying God a lot." But it's that they don't want to know the truth. They don't want to know the truth. If you knew the truth, then that would mean you have to change things. You have to stop. You'd have to actually listen to what Lecrae's telling you about the truth, and then you have to change that up.
All right.
I don't think they want to know that.
I say yay, nay. Yay, because you talking about Matthew 4. Jesus is coming up. Satan is tempting him, showing him the world, showing him the world's riches.
And also in Job, when you see Satan.
So, yes, he's right on Satan giving people the opportunity to be rich in this world. And then know maybe about the theology of it. Like, how is this theology with God? Like, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, like I said, the song is very catchy and the song is very move your body, get crunk kind of song. Not crunk, but like bounce with it. But with that said, it's like he's telling the truth. Like the devil is going to offer you, especially in the space that he's in, and is going to offer you those type of temptations.
And the question is, does he know that he took the devil's end of the bargain?
Do you think he did?
Doesn't it seem like he did?
Why?
All the things that he talks about in his songs. I mean, he's just like the money, the cars, the women, and everything he says he knows.
Usually, when he talks about those things, he talks about them in a negative way.
Okay.
So it's not like he's not like a popping bottles in the club with my chick. And, like he's not that type of a dude. So he thinks it's okay because he's talking about it, but he's talking about it in like a
negative.
Can't you see how bad this is type way?
Okay.
So all right, let's skip.
I can't determine that.
Let's skip down.
Your words.
Let's skip down to Blacker the Berry. He said, "I mean, it's evident that I'm irrelevant to society. That's why you're telling me." Penitentiary would only hire me. Curse me till I'm dead. Church me with your fake prophesizing that I'ma be just another slave in my head. Institutionalized manipulation and lies. Reciprocation of freedom only live in your eyes." Every time he mentions something about God, I wonder is it just a line or is it something more than that? This whole song, he's basically saying he's kind of talking from the angry black man's point of view of y'all did this and y'all did that, but then at the end he flips it to say, how can we say all that if we do it ourselves? So that was the point of the song.
Okay, question real quick. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Question. Do you think he meant slave, like the Bible was making you to a slave when you just said it, or God is making you to a slave, or the preacher is making you into a slave?
I don't know who he's talking about. Church me with your fake prophesizing that I'ma be just another slave in my head. I don't know who's prophesizing that to him. I don't know if he means like the corporation is saying that, or he really means church.
No, man, I'm talking about like church, like you know, I got a word for you type thing. You know what I mean?
I don't know if he's just using that as a metaphor for what they're doing.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I don't know his
intention. Or the same like, yo, man, you gonna be the hottest thing in the game. You gonna change the game. You gonna do this. You gonna do that. I mean, that's almost equivalent to, hey, man, you gonna blow up. God wants you to blow up. You know what I mean?
Here's another reference because we gotta get through this. We're super over time. He said I done been through a whole lot, trial, tribulation, but I know God. The devil want to put me in a bow tie. Pray that the holy water don't go dry. What are these references? Does he mean this? Does he really think that what he's doing is for God?
Yeah.
To me, when I hear him, and I'm not a big Kendrick fan at all, so I don't know how to really dissect what he's trying to say. To me, it feels like he's coming from a place where he is taking a stance to be the voice of black people.
Well, he feels like he's like a preacher. He feels like this is the closest thing to a preacher these people would ever listen to.
And I think that he's feeling like, I mean, to me, he's dictating how everybody should feel when they look out and see the world, when they look out and see people. Because what was that song I told y'all about? Like, it was like really, really strong pro-black everything.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering. I was like, wow, is he talking about how we see? Like, what was the interlude? It was the end of what was the song, Sean? I was telling you about.
You talking about the NEGUS thing?
Yeah.
All right, so that's next on my list.
Okay.
So at the end of what was interesting about the album is the version of I that made the album is different than the one that's the single. It sounds more like a live version. At the beginning, you hear people yelling, and he's like trying to, they're trying to get the attention of the crowd. And at the end, he stops the song, and then he goes into this like spoken word piece about the N word. And he's basically saying he's basically calling Oprah out and saying that I think she did a show a while back about the N word and trying to get people to stop using it. He's basically saying if I was there, I would let them know that this word NEGUS came from Ethiopia, and it was a word used for kings and queens and rulers. And then they took us to America and used it as to make fun of us and to degrade us. And he's trying to take the word back. That's why he says it in the songs. Is that a real justification for using the N word, or is he stretching?
That's a whole nother topic, brother.
Is he stretching?
He's
and I don't want to stay too long on that, because this is the song that everybody really wants us. Oh, real quick, the last song, Mortal Man, basically he's asking like, if stuff gets tough, would you still stick with me? Are you really a fan? But then he has this Tupac conversation at the end of it, talking about creative. Tupac is basically saying, poor people are going to rise up and devour the rich, and if you don't do whatever. Anyway, it was creative, but moving on. People, I called when I first saw Kendrick perform. I said they're going to make him the next Tupac. I said that. This was 3 years ago when I first saw him. Yeah. I said they're going to make him the next Tupac. Just his demeanor looked that way. Yeah. And so far, that's what they're doing. But this is a song people specifically asked us to dissect. How much a dollar costs? This is the one I saw Soup actually talk about on his Twitter, where he was basically saying like, this guy must read his Bible, because this song, it was the most biblical song on the album. I will say this. So if you don't know about the song, spoiler alert, we're going to tell you what the outcome of the song is. Basically, he's telling the story of him stopping at a gas station, and a homeless guy asked him for $1. Yeah. And he basically read him up and down and said, oh, he's just trying to get it for crack or whatever. I don't want to do that. And throughout the verses, you hear him kind of like going back and forth with like, I don't want to give this dude money. And the guy's like, asking him blah, blah, blah. Then by the end of the song, you find out that the homeless man was God. All right, so I'm gonna skip ahead to that part, and let's see if this is biblical all the way, or are we reaching? All right, okay. He said, "This is God as a homeless man responding to him. I seen you from a mile away, losing focus, and this is him." This is Kendrick. I'm insensitive and I lack empathy. But then this is what God's saying. He looked at me and said, your potential is bittersweet. I looked at him and said, every nickel is mine to keep. He looked at me and said, know the truth. It'll set you free. You're looking at the Messiah, the Son of Jehovah, the higher power, the choir that spoke the word, the Holy Spirit, the nerve of Nazareth. And I'll tell you just how much $1 costs. The price of having a spot in heaven. Embrace your loss. I am God. That's the most straight, like, Christian message he put on this thing. What do you think about it?
I don't know, man. The song sound dope. The story of it is dope too. So, what I think,
the story is also, I've seen a lot in church plays. They do that too, where the pastor sits outside as a homeless man, and people like pass by him, and then he gets up and he talks, and it's like you don't know who I really am, blah blah blah. So he kind of took that thing, and
but I mean, we talk about scripture, and it talks about like sometimes you never know you be entertaining angels.
Yeah.
So,
and here's the scripture that it does match up with, is the whole when God says, "Depart from me, you when I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I was in jail, you never came and visited me." And they were like, "When did we do this? We didn't see you in that way." Yeah. He's like, "Well, when you do that to the least of these, you did it to me." Yeah. Mm-hmm. So to me, that's what popped into my mind when I heard the song. So it is grounded. A couple nitpicks though. I'm just wondering if it's important.
Can you just say, "Hey, man, I'm trying to reach something.
I'm trying, man.
I'm trying.
That's why I don't like y'all." Nah. I just want to, before we celebrate it, is it true?
I mean, we're not celebrating it. We just say
a lot of people celebrate.
I mean, for us, we look at music and stuff as art, and we see it, and we could say, "Okay, that's good art. Okay, that art is good, but it got some bad stuff in it."
Let's just see what's good and what's not good.
Yeah.
He's saying he's God. Is he Jesus or God? Because that matters, right? Is he the
does
Father
matter.
or the Son? All right, because he's saying you're looking at the Messiah, so immediately you're thinking he's Jesus, the Son of Jehovah. Still legit, right? The higher power, the choir that spoke the word.
Yeah,
a little weird with the choir part, but it's still legit.
When you talking about singing, probably
the Holy Spirit. That's when he starts crossing this thing because
Yeah.
the Son is not the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
But unless he just
Oh, what are
means
you
this is
talking
the
about, the
3 in
Trinity?
1.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, let's go with that.
Triune.
The nerve of Nazareth, and I'll tell you just how much $1 costs, the price of having a spot in heaven.
Now that's a problem.
Okay.
Because you can't buy your way into heaven.
Okay. But this is a sticky situation because we know, we all agree, that you can't work your way into heaven. It's not by works, it's by grace, it's by faith. But if you aren't willing to give the homeless man $1, does that prove that you don't have saving faith yet? Because I think a lot of people, this is the divide between there's factions when it comes to Christianity. Yeah. Are you the person that talks a good theology game, or are you the person that walks a good serving game?
Yeah,
I think people fall on both sides of that, and the people who are all about serving and rights and getting things the way they need to be. Some of them are weak on the theology side.
Yeah.
And some of the people who are really strong theology-wise are weak on the actually putting feet to the ground and doing something side.
Yeah.
And I feel like this song is addressing that middle ground of how do we get people to be both? Because you shouldn't be all about helping people, but your theology is terrible.
Yeah, that's true.
AKA the dude on Detroit, love hip hop. But
Detroit
you
Love and Hip Hop.
or what's it called?
The
Preachers of Detroit. Or you can't be really good at theology, but you don't do nothing for nobody.
Yeah, that's true.
Are both people missing the point?
I think honestly, man, if this was a test and you failed the test, you failed the test. God's gonna give you opportunities to do this again to see if you or you need to check your heart
or
too.
is it revealing your heart that you just said you got saved, but you're not actually following Jesus? Because Jesus would lead you to help people. He would lead you to go preach in the jails. He would lead you to do that. And we've done those things over the years as well, but of course we don't do that enough either.
Yeah.
So it's not to say that,
but the difference is the opportunity presenting itself. The opportunity was presenting itself. Like prime example, I'll give an example real quick. I was going to work on Friday. Me and my wife, I go get my lunch so I can have it and everything. Got some money so I can have some snacks at like break time or whatever. And I'm walking. Lady pops up. Boom. Hey, I need to get some gas. Whoop. And I'm looking at the money like, she messing up my lunch. She's messing up my situation. Yeah. But in my heart of hearts, I was like, okay, here you go, ma'am.
Yeah.
Never seen a woman before, never. And she drove off. I don't know where she went. You know what I'm saying? But it's just the test of it and seeing what it is. So all I have to say is, it is one of those things where you never know. So always be open to what God is trying to do and the opportunity. And when I say what I mean is, we've never had the opportunity to go back to a jail like that. If somebody call us, I'm sure somebody call FMG
the question is,
or
why
whatever.
don't we make the opportunity? Why don't we go ask?
That's true. I mean, that's true too. I don't know what to say about that, but I think the thing is also is going to the buy my way into heaven. I mean, I think Kanye said that too. Like, I hope when Jesus walks, he said, I hope this, if this don't give me no ends, I hope this pay for my sins. Like, you aren't paying for your sins by giving to the poor or by doing works. You just believe in Jesus Christ.
This is the longest type we've ever done, so I'm torn between just finishing it off because we won't have time for two, or just cutting it here. But here's some feedback. Said he's not a Christian rapper. He might become one when CHH takes over the game. That's a thought.
Oh, good.
We know. Then he was.
Good.
I don't know. Nicholas, I guess, is the way you say this. Nicholas said, responding to the whole ghostwriters part, we know that Dr. Dre had ghost beat makers, so that's interesting. He said he's trying to be different because he wants to stand out, but he's still worldly though. And then Royally Me said, I feel like Kendrick is legit, or at least trying to be legit. Yeah. So I agree with that. We're being critical of the album just because this is Dissect. But if I was just in a bubble and I just was talking to Kendrick, I'd be like, hey man, I see your heart.
Yeah.
I wish you would give me the opportunity to help you iron out these details.
Yeah.
But I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're saved. but I would love the opportunity to talk to you more about this. And I hope that's what Lecrae's doing, since he has his ear.
Right.
But I don't know where he is, honestly. I can't tell from this album where he falls. I can tell he's interested, but I don't know how interested.
I think an open dialogue would be. I think he is open to dialogue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
and real quick, since we won't have time to finish this, what do you think about the reaction from all the Christian hip hop artists that basically gushed over this? Is that right? Is there something weird about that, or is that okay? Because I heard some, and not to call anybody out, but I saw when Swoop posted it, there was a lot of dialogue back and forth on his page, and it just brought up like, is it okay to be, talking or celebrating a artist that's not necessarily a Christian artist? Is it okay to imply that he might be? Is it okay to is that okay?
I think like we said, they're celebrating the art of the person. I don't know if they're celebrating the person. Yeah. They're celebrating what they created. Because
we get the same flack with line for line. So,
Yeah, it's kind of. I think at times, sometimes, like, honestly, even on my Twitter, like, I want to say certain things, but then I have to think about it. Like, who am I promoting? What am I saying? Like, you know what I mean?
But I feel like there's kind of been an emerging, since Lecrae kind of co-signed Kendrick, there's been an emergence of being able to be like, well, Kendrick is okay.
Yeah.
And is that okay? Is it okay?
TBC. To be continued, man.
So anyway, we're gonna leave it there. Y'all finish that up. Is it okay for Christian artists to react so positively to Kendrick Lamar? I'm not saying it's wrong or not. I don't know. It just stood out to me. Like, man, are we approving of Kendrick? Like, is he worth that? I guess is what I'm saying. Not in a mean way, but is it dangerous to send kids his way?
I see what you mean.
That's my thought. All right, man, let's get back into it. You in the field with the track stars. Let's go.